Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa with Foote Title Group, where we protect your home ownership. So, like I said, all the time, I try to come to you a couple times a week to talk about things regarding home closings. Whether you're buying a house, selling a house, or refinancing your home, or if you have bought a piece of property and you're building a home, at some point through that process, you're going to have to go through closing. And so I try to talk about all different pieces that have to do with buying, selling, doing construction loans, doing a refinance, all those things that might come up while you're going through that closing process. And today, and for the balance of the year, we are talking about the frequently asked questions I get all the time, the most common things that people ask. And earlier this week, we talked about the funds you needed for closing and how we come up with what those funds are and how we know what you actually need for closing. Today, I wanted to talk about the second most frequently asked question, which is how long does it take to pull together a closing? So let's say we're talking about the refinance strategy, because in that particular instance, you have less interaction with professionals that help you along the way. Your mortgage lender is very efficient and talented at taking care of your mortgage, but they may not have all the information about the process, about the closing. So let's talk about that for a minute so you understand what needs to be taken care of in order for your closing to happen timely like it needs to. And thank you. If you are on watching us live, please check in and let me know that you're on. Let me know if what we're talking about is something that's helpful for you, because that really helps me figure out what kind of things to talk about to help you get more information. Hey there, Robbie. How are you? Good morning. And Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hey, Sherry East, how are you this morning? Thank you so much for tuning in. Good morning. And Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. So today I wanted to talk about the second most common question I get, which is how long does it take to pull together the closing? And I am targeting today specifically people that are doing a refinance closing because, as I said, those are the people that don't have a realtor who is giving them direction on what to do when. And the mortgage lender, although they are very talented and know all of the pieces that need to be done for the mortgage, sometimes they don't have the connection with your title company quite the same. Your realtor, once your contract is written, is then helping you coordinate everything. The mortgage lender is very busy putting together all of the mortgage paperwork and getting everything approved for you so that your loan can happen when it's supposed to. So and not that you don't need to know this for any other type of closing, but when you're talking about a refinance, you're doing a lot of the legwork yourself. So the one thing I wanted to talk about timing is it depends on the company you're working with and the people that they work with. So our title company is licensed in Maryland and Virginia, and we can do closings all throughout the states of Maryland and Virginia. In some of the jurisdictions, it takes a little bit longer for us to get the paperwork we need together for your closing, and because of that, it may take a little bit longer for us to be able to pull a closing together for you. And the reason that that matters is because one of the, as I've told you many times, there's three really important things that we do. One is, as soon as we get the information about your closing, the title search needs to be ordered, and that's a search of the land records to determine who has owned the property throughout the property's existence, and make sure that everyone that owned it properly transferred it when they sold it to someone else. Hey there, Miss Pam. Good morning. So not only did they properly transfer it, but are all of the mortgages or the financial obligations that they had that were secured by that property, have they been taken care of? And so that responsibility is the first thing that we take care of. And because that is a little bit of a time-consuming process, we want to make sure that we have enough time to ensure that that's taken care of. Because ultimately, as we talk about, our third most important thing is we're protecting home ownership. And the way to do that is for us to search those land records to make sure that that title to that property is clear. Now, if you're refinancing, you might say, well, I've owned the property, and so why does that need to happen? Well, your mortgage lender is not going to loan you money against that property unless they're sure that their loan is completely secure, that you actually own it, no one else has an ownership interest, and that there is no other financial obligations recorded against that property except for what they know about. Now, again, you may say, well, I've owned it for all this time and I'm refinancing with the same lender, or I already had a lender before and we did this check. Well, the new lender or the same lender, if they're loaning money again, wants to be extra sure because they're loaning a whole lot of money. Hence the reason that they are securing it against your property. They want to make absolute positive sure that all of the pieces are in place. And just because you've gone to closing before and someone's insured that ownership doesn't mean that they did it correctly, or it doesn't mean that they were able to find everything that needed to be done. That's why title insurance protects you in the future for things that happened in the past, because a lot of times there are things that come up that maybe weren't recorded properly, that someone wasn't able to find doing a title search, maybe a forgery that didn't come to light before. These kind of things happen all the time and are more common now with the people out there that are trying to steal things from us through the computer and all of the accesses that are available. So the timing that it takes to get your closing together really depends on how long will it take us to get the title search together. And typically, I would say that in most cases, as long as nothing comes up from beginning to end, from when we get the information till when we can close, 2 weeks. Maybe it takes a little bit longer. It depends on getting that title search in and did something show up in that title search that needs to be resolved. But typically I would say from beginning to end, if you called and wanted to close within 2 weeks, we could certainly be able to pull that off. Sometimes sooner, depending on the jurisdiction and how quickly we can get that title search taken care of and process that information. But on the outside, I would say typically we could do 2 weeks. So as I said, that's one of the most common questions that we get. And that's true with a purchase or a refinance, or if you're doing a construction loan because you're buying a new home, or if you're the seller on a piece of property. All of those things do apply to that information. And that should be true primarily across most places across the country, most title companies. Now, some areas may take a little bit longer because of some of the resources that they have available. But in most cases, I would say 2 weeks would seem like a reasonable time. And in a lot of those cases, a lot quicker can happen depending on the company and the resources. So let me know if you guys have any additional questions. We're going to still talk about frequently asked questions for the balance of the year, which isn't very long. It sounds kind of crazy, but we've only got another little over a week where we can talk about these things. And I love bringing up topics that are things that help you get information to you. So if there is something that you really want to know about, message me or bring it up through the group here that we're on, the live group here we're talking about. Some people watch this live and a lot of people watch the replays. So throughout the day, I'm constantly monitoring if you're asking questions. You can also reach out to anyone on our team through our website. You can find all of our team members who are licensed and well-versed in Maryland and Virginia closings. And our website is www.footetitlegroup.com. There's also several resources on there depending on if you're a buyer or a seller or a lender. Go to the resources tab under that page or the helpful links, and you can find out all kinds of information that answer a lot of these questions that we've talked about. If you found what we talked about valuable, please click that share button. It helps me share information with people that you know. And I'm very passionate about sharing information and helping people answer questions when it comes to buying and selling real estate. So hopefully I've helped you this morning. I have to get off and get ready to go take care of some closings for today. And tomorrow we have some closings of people that want to get in before the Christmas holiday. If I don't talk to you beforehand, I hope you and your family have a very Merry Christmas and enjoy that family time. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa with Foote Title Group, where we protect your home ownership. Talk to you soon, guys.